Well, good evening. Welcome to Grover Hill Zion United Methodist Church Thursday evening devotions from around the kitchen table. This evening I want to talk to you a little about one of the foundations of what we believe, and that's faith in God. Apostle Paul writes in Hebrews chapter 11 verse 16, without faith it's impossible to please God. Impossible, because anyone who comes to him must first believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. So without faith you won't do that. You won't seek him. But anyway, in Mark's Gospel, chapter 9, verses 14 through 29, it's an example of faith, both of having faith and not having faith. And I'm sure that we've all been there. Even when we believe, we still have doubts at times. When they came to the disciples, Mark writes about Jesus, when they came to the disciples, they saw a great crowd around them and some scribes arguing with them. When the whole crowd saw Jesus, they were immediately overcome with awe, and they ran forward to greet him. And he asked them, "What are you arguing about?" And someone from the crowd answered him, "Teacher, I brought you my son. He has a spirit that makes him unable to speak, and whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams, and he grinds his teeth, and he becomes rigid. And I asked your disciples to cast him out, but they could not do so." And Jesus answered them, You faithless generation, how much longer must I be among you? How much longer must I put up with you? Bring him to me, Jesus said, and they brought the boy to him. And when the evil spirit saw him, he immediately convulsed the boy, and the boy fell on the ground, and he rolled about, foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked the father, how long has this been happening to him? And the father said, from childhood. It has cast him into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you are able to, Jesus, if you're able to do anything, have pity on us and help us. And Jesus said to him, if you are able, then immediately the father of the boy cried out, I believe, Lord. I believe, Jesus, help my unbelief. And when Jesus saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, you spirit that keeps this boy from speaking and hearing, I command you, come out of him and never ever enter him again. After crying out and convulsing terribly, the spirit came out, and the boy was like a corpse. And so the people said, he's dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he was able to stand. When he had entered the house, his disciples asked Jesus privately, why could we not cast it out? Why couldn't we cast it out? And Jesus said to them, this kind of spirit can only come out through prayer. Through prayer. You've been there in that situation, I'm sure. I'm sure you have. To entrust our loved ones to God takes considerable faith. To turn over a sick child when all else has failed, to turn that child over to Christ, is to come with mixtures of belief and unbelief. How often do we say, like the father in the story, if you can, God, if you can. Certainly we say it by the hospital bed, or in the accident ward, or at the graveside. But we also say it when the child goes off to first grade, or he takes the car out alone for the first time, or he goes out on his first date. Likewise, adult children find themselves turning their parents over to the Lord as age takes its toll and love needs divine support. If you can, Lord, I really do believe, but help my unbelief. The faith, or the journey of faith, is a struggle to believe. Unbelief causes us to rely on ourselves as long as we can, at least until desperation seizes us and we have no other way out, no other choice. Then we want to believe with all of our heart and mind and soul. The father of the boy was right. He confessed with his belief, and he confessed with his unbelief, and he asked Jesus to help. The way of the cross is the way of trusting in what we don't understand, following what we cannot see. Sometimes our journey is through the darkness. Sometimes our journey is through the light. But all the time, Jesus calls us to have faith, to believe, to let us help Him help our unbelief. Well, I pray you just have a great and blessed weekend with this holiday coming up.